Hi there, my name is Camilla Stevens and I worked with Matt Mullins and Jose Wills to build the Cocktail Companion app. So our app is a cocktail mixing app for home users with no previous experience of mixing drinks. It fetches and displays API data and it allows users to search for specific cocktails by name, to filter the results by spirit, or to view our drinks collections. We've also included some advice about ingredients and equipment to help users set up their home bar. We built the app because we wanted to gather all this information in one place. We wanted to make it really fun and easy for users to access, and we wanted to make it as simple as possible for people to find the specific information that they need. So here on the landing page, users can scroll through our drinks carousel and they can click on any drink to see the ingredients and instructions. And then in all cocktails, they can see our cocktails grid, which has the same functionality. So users click on any drink to see the details. Here at the top, there's a search field, so users can search for the name of the cocktail that they'd like to see, and it will return the results. Users can also filter by spirit, or have a look through our drinks collections. So they can see a random selection, a random drink, or see what's most popular in the database. And then here in Best Barware is our guide to setting up your home bar. So all the ingredients and equipment that you'll need for a budget of £50, £100, £200 and beyond. We used agile practices throughout our project during both the planning and development stages. We initially used a Miro board to gather together all our ideas about the app's possible features and how it might look. We divided features into must-haves and could-haves, so we knew what to focus on first. And then from this, we worked together to produce a Figma mock-up based on the must-have features. And we then set up a Trello board to prioritise and allocate tasks. We use mob programming to get started, building the app component and the navbar component before moving on to working on separate parts of the app. We took part in stand-up every time we met to discuss progress, anything we were stuck on, and what we were planning to work on next. And we regularly reviewed and updated the Trello board throughout the project, which allowed us to work flexibly and manage any issues as they arose.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm going to talk through the tech stack that we used for our Cocktail Companion project and the reason why we did it, and then talk through how the code was actually created. So we used a number of technologies and tools to help us build the project. We used Axios to access the API data from an API called Cocktail DB. We used Jest as our testing environment. We used React to build out a component-based project so we could reuse components. We used a number of NPM packages for things like icons and to help us create a burger menu. We used it to work collaboratively and put code together. Prettier to ensure that our code was clean and readable. Figma for prototyping, and Illustrator to help us design some logos. Okay, so I've just jumped into the code, and what I want to show you first is how we get the data from the API. So using Axios, we get the data from the Cocktail DB API, which uses the get cocktails function. It's an asynchronous function, and it also handles any errors. Once we have this data, we can render it in our grid. So this is our all cocktails function, and it uses states to dynamically render the grid of all the cocktails from our database. What we can then do is use this data to filter through on user-generated selections, and these are hidden here. We've also got a number of different get requests, so most popular or like a random drink selection. And so the filtering element is handled here and it's user generated. We then have the cocktail card, which is what we use to set up the pop-up, which appears when a user clicks on their desired cocktail. And then within this card, the actual information to do with the instructions, the name, the picture is rendered within cocktail details. And that's also dynamically rendered, which you can see here. We also additionally have an image carousel, which we render on the front page to make it a bit more engaging for users. And this uses the cocktail card and cocktail details components from before. We additionally have an article component where we conditionally render the different price points, and that's in a carousel. We also have the nav bar here, which is used to move around the site. And depending on media queries, we also have this separate burger nav, which, when using media queries, turns the navbar into a little burger menu to make it a more comfortable user experience for when they're on different size screens.
Hello, I'm Jose, and I'm going to be talking to you about one of the challenges that we faced whilst making Cocktail Companion. There were a lot of issues, as you can imagine, but I'm just going to choose one of the most problematic ones we came across. So we were hooked up to an API which returned a response with an array of objects, and each one of those objects included properties like drink ID, name, image, ingredients, and instructions, which is everything we needed to be able to display a grid of cocktails like this. And each one of the cocktail cards had a little pop-up which all those details inside it for the user to see. Now, in order for us to then add a new feature for the user to be able to filter down by spirit, for example, we needed to make a different API call. So that request returned a response with limited data. It only gave us drink ID, name, and an image. And that wasn't enough for one of these pop-ups. We needed all this information. So what we had to do is essentially use some conditional logic to be able to compare those two arrays side by side. So we used a filter and sum within a useEffect hook to be able to filter the cocktails depending on whether the drink ID was strictly equal to the drink ID in the filtered cocktails array. I'll show you what that looks like. Let me just move my head. This is the useEffect hook. Within the useEffect hook, in the dependency, we have our array of filtered drinks, and this is the logic which I've just described. There you can see that we've used filter and sum. If you want to find out more, we'd love to hear from you. Please do get in touch. We would love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear any ideas that you have on how we can make Cocktail Companion better. If you follow that QR code, scan it with your phone now, or there's going to be a button at the end of the video that you can click, and that leads you to the site. Within the site, check it out, make some cocktails, drink responsibly. And there's a little contact link that you can click on, which leads to all of our LinkedIns, all of our emails. Please do get in touch. As I say, we would absolutely love your feedback and your thoughts. We want to hear how you can make Cocktail Companion better, as I say. And we want to hear maybe some questions. Maybe check out the GitHub repo and do inspect all of that. Anyway, just to end this video, we'd love to say a massive thank you to everyone at Command Shift. It's been an absolutely amazing experience, life-changing. I don't think I've ever learned so much in 6 months in my life. So thanks very much. And also a big thanks to Max. He came up with the idea for Cocktail Companion and he very kindly let us use it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. All the best. Bye for now.